Thursday Nighter Round 4 for the month of March. I am Michael Perry, and I am pleased to be joined by International Master Nubair.
Thank you, Michael. Good evening, everyone, guys.
Um, just one quick announcement before we start. So there will be no tournament at the castle this weekend as we will be hosting the closed, which is pretty exciting. And as mentioned last week, that will be covered on the YouTube channel on the 28th and 29th. No stream Friday night, but there will be streams on both Saturday and Sunday with titled players, I believe including Nubair. So definitely make sure to come back and check out the coverage. And yeah, I think they'll just be covering the top 2 sections. But yeah, looking forward to that. And I believe that is all. And I'll pass it over to Nubair for the games.
Thank you. So today we have 5 boards from the Premier section on DGT. Let's start with the first board. It's Nathan once again playing against Team Jordan. So it's round 4, the last week of the month. So we have got some serious game on top board with a complicated position. The rook on c1 looks hanging. The f2 is bit under pressure. At the same time, Black needs to watch out some queen g7 or some back rank. Right now, it's white to play, but let's see how we reach this position. So it was d4, d5, the queen's pawn opening, going into the Slav defense, very solid. Knight c3, so far the mainline stuff, d takes c4, e4. And here, if white wants to recover the pawn by force, they usually go like this or like this. But then white opted for a gambit, e4, and now b5 is possible, and b3. So this is relatively new move here. Usually, this is known as a Geller gambit, and white usually goes bishop e2. Let's say black could go e6, white goes castle. And now black has 2 options, bishop e7 and bishop b7, followed by castle, knight d7, and so on. And whereas white just continues rook e1, bishop f4, knight e5, and just, ignoring that he's down a pawn. He focuses on the center control. But I think Nathan has prepared a new idea, b3. And usually the b4 is met by knight a4 and knight e4 by bishop c4. So this is a typical plan in this opening. And maybe he's playing b3 because once he gets bishop e2, the b3 becomes difficult as black has bishop b4, coming with the tempo, the pinning, and knight e4 again. So maybe this is the right time to play b3 if you want to try this out. As I said, b4 can again be met with knight a4. And probably if you take, it's just going to be take. And yeah, maybe also bishop d3 is possible in future. Sometimes b4, e5 is also possible. Black plays queen a5. Sounds fine because bishop d2, I guess there's a b4 followed by c3. And probably team also was expecting this. Like he played this instantly, more or less. Bishop d2, roughly 20 minutes of thinking. I don't know what he was thinking for so long. Like, I don't see any of the move.
Yeah,
like,
me
what
neither.
else do you play here? You play queen c2, there's 94. So I cannot play this. You cannot really go b4.
It looks like he.
Yeah.
It looks like he is simuling again though, so maybe he was playing his other game.
Don't tell me that he's also playing in the Open and Premier. Yeah, he's playing. Yeah, he's playing Kevin in the Open section. So yeah, but this is tough. I mean, still, I mean, even if you're simuling, you don't have option. Like you are playing something new, novelty kind of thing, and maybe b4, queen b4, and he was considering bishop d2. Maybe it's possible. And after that, there's going to be a discord attack for sure. Whatever it is, he played bishop d2, b4, and yeah, now c3 will come. And this pawn is going to drop. Yeah, looks very, very crazy at the first instance. I don't know where the bishop should be kept when queen c2 is an option. He goes bishop d3, knight d6 is usual response. Okay, he goes to f6. a3 is nice. Takes, and basically you should castle here. Yeah, he plays next 4-5 moves very quickly, so he doesn't get so down on time. Queen c2, knight d5. Yeah, he's defending this pawn, but probably developing more pieces was better option in my opinion, because even if you play knight d5, moves like this is are possible. You play g6, then you capture, and the king is quite weak, and it's total chess 960 setup. Like only queen is out, and I'm not in support of this move, though it saves the pawn.
He must be going for like knight b4 and then like knight d3, queen d3, and bishop a6. You're a bit frozen on my end. Can't hear
Knight
you
d4,
at
yeah.
this point. Yeah, night before. You just were a bit frozen there, so I didn't quite hear what you said. But yeah, I think that's why he tried this. Yeah, it looks like your camera froze. But I think he was going for knight before. Otherwise, I don't see why he played this so quickly. Because yeah, bishop b4 makes more sense. But knight b4 does look a bit scary because um, just to point out to the viewers, then obviously the queen would have to move, like if white just makes a random move, and then black is threatening to take the bishop on d3, white takes back, and then bishop a6 would skewer the queen on d3 and the rook on f1. So that's, I think, what Jordan was threatening, and I wonder how you try to stop that. I mean, you could just move your rook out of the way, so that'd probably solve all your problems, and then, like after knight d5, rook d1, and then knight b4, and you probably just play like queen e2, then it's not as much of a problem. But so bishop b4 still would have been better, but I think that's what he was going for. Um,
Yeah. Sorry, guys.
yeah, no worries.
Okay. So yeah, Michael was talking about knight b4 and bishop a6 ideas, and yeah, it makes sense. White needs to decide how to prevent knight b4 or to go for this line after which there's a knight b4, probably f5, maybe g6. He went bishop c1. So the point is, after knight b4, white is just aiming for queen takes c3, and the whole point is he cannot capture because the a5 hangs. So bishop a6, bishop a3 probably, no? So bishop a3, what's the problem? Probably just take everything and you just play castle.
Oh
And
yeah. For some reason, I saw knight b4, queen c3, but I still assumed you could take on d3. But the queen's hanging.
yeah, and black will be still up a pawn. So white played knight e5, not giving easy development to black. And yes, as you said, if you cannot really take on d3 with the knight because the queen would be hanging. But maybe it's possible to take here, and then even moves like this are a bit annoying. The
So
epsilon.
it's kind of a crazy
This
position. But do you prefer white at this point, or
for a speed chess game, yes, white. In long run, I would take black because, like, even if I lose these 2 pawns, I would still be a upper pawn. So, and
Yeah.
I'm probably only this is the weakness I have to defend, and that's why I wanted my knight to be on d6 in the initial position when like white played bishop d3, and that's why the red square for knight is many times d6 and not f6 in the Geller gambit.
Hmm.
Like I have a very famous game in this. Like I won very important like critical game when I made my second GM norm in France back then in
Mm.
2020, and we had like 4 queens on the board after move 10.
After move 10.
Yeah, 4 queens on the board, and it was like super complex. And I was playing with black, and it was a classical game, so I had to defend, and eventually I won the game.
Wow.
And that was against Grandmaster, and yeah, that win helped me to make some draws after that because then I already had like +3 score, and then just draws were enough for a Grandmaster norm after that. So, and that was important game to win with black pieces.
Oh, wow.
And that is, I mean, if you just Google 4 queens after Mutan on Google or something, or Chess Best, YouTube or something, it will just come like, because it
Oh,
was analyzed by Sagar back then, and it was like very famous.
I'll have to look that
So,
up.
yeah. So bishop b4. After that, I did not get chance to get into this variation. Like people are just not playing this.
Hmm.
It's absolutely crazy. So yeah, as I said, I was talking about bishop b4 is a good idea, and okay, he drops this pawn, but yeah, now black can castle. Okay, what's the point you're capturing here? So we just played bishop b4, and now if you castle, what's wrong? Knight c4, you have got queen a6, and then probably take, and he's not happy about this. But again, you can go to d5. Okay, so maybe the black player is saying, or the Jordan team is saying that, okay, the rook is hanging, and you cannot really do any discovered attack. Makes sense. And also queen b4 is possible in case of a knight c4. And probably he can castle here, but he goes for queen b4 first. I just hope he doesn't go for the b3 pawn. Oh, wow, he goes for it. Okay, maybe fine, but why is going on a2? Like, why not rook a1?
Yeah, that's a bit odd.
And if I'm not wrong, the queen is trapped after that, in case if he captures.
Yep.
Or even something like this was possible, but this is probably inviting this. And what next? Like, you go rook a1, and you just say that you cannot castle.
Hmm.
No, he wants to go here and then what, win this.
And
Okay,
he's
wow,
down
knight
3
b4.
pawns, though, so he needs to have some pretty good counterplay.
So look, it's move 20, and black has played 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 moves with this knight. Like, that's a bit too much, and he has not castled yet, and not said anything like hi, hello to these people on A8 and B8.
Yeah.
And he's also not winning anything. Like, okay, is he winning something? Okay, my bad. But there's a queen of 3. So
And he's only used like 7 minutes, 6 minutes.
yeah, probably strategy is just to flag Nathan, who's playing like 2 games at a time, castles, and rook a3, and he drops the a3 pawn. So there was just no need to go here. Absolutely no need. Queen c3, and he also did not manage to get exchange queens. And probably a5, knight c5, or knight b6 is coming. Like, this is coming. It's a threat. How do we prevent that? The b4 is hanging. Knight a6. Wow. So this knight goes to a6 with very strange maneuvering.
Hmm.
For the first time, I'm seeing some player getting knight to a6 from g8. Wow. Just to save material. Definitely not good. Queen b2, and now he's putting a trap, small cheapo maybe at some point, or simply trying to win material directly. c5 played, prevented queen b7. Knight c3, and now what for queen d4? He just wants to play queen b7 probably. Yeah. And so then material count is 2 pawns and exchange for the rook. Knight b4. Oops. So now again this is coming. We need to prevent it, and knight d3 is annoying. Knight c6 is possible. Queen b7 only move. Rook b8. Queen d7. So if black wants, there's a perpetual here.
Hmm. But black's probably a bit better. It's crazy. Jordan always somehow ends up on top in these positions.
Yeah, and he goes knight d4, and probably he wants to go knight d3 next. So rook a7 was played, and that's what we are witnessing right now. Knight f3. Now this is brilliant because if you take this a queen g5 check, it's not a piece sacrifice or a blunder. It's a pure tactics. You cannot go here. It's a mate. And so probably the only move is king to f1. And there's a check. There's a king g1, and there's again a check. So again, if black wants, there's still a perpetual. Takes king h2, knight f. Okay, so black doesn't want a perpetual. In this kind of position, when queen f7 check was coming, black with his own will decided to go knight g4 with some ideas of queen h2, queen h1. Now this looks like a top board match. Both the players playing for a win, and in the final round to win the tournament. Queen f7 check, of course, king h8, and now this is not happening. So probably this is the only move. And we have knight d3 on the board with multiple attacks. Maybe this is not that serious. You can just play king g2 afterwards and you defend this. But right now, where do you go with the rook? Can white play rook d1? And I was wondering if queen takes c3, we have rook to d3. And I think, yeah, it works. You cannot capture. The g7 hangs. You cannot really do this. The f2 is protected. And probably you can play rook d1. So if we have to worry about anything, it's knight f2 or knight f2 like this. Probably like this is more stronger, and then g3 is hanging.
Yeah, I would be scared if I was white.
Yeah, definitely. Maybe he needs to try giving some back rank thread or something. Some counter thread is needed here. So let's say if he plays rook e7, what black can do here, what black could do. This looks very strong because this you are threatening a mate plus you are threatening rook e6. So
Yeah,
let's say rook e7. How do we defend the back rank? h6 is the only way, or h5?
I
h5
kind
is
of
risky
like.
because rook e6 again.
Yeah, I kind of like just h6 or h5.
Let's say
Maybe
h6.
h6. Yeah.
And then let's say rook e6. I don't
Then
know, 24 probably.
yeah, queen d4.
And I was thinking if we could work out some tactic there. Or still it's complicated. So rook e7, h6, rook e6, queen d4.
And I feel like white's attacks are going to die out, and black's eventually going to be able to take on f2.
And let's just say, let's imagine white simply defends the rook and knight at the same time. Okay.
Yeah.
Let's
Yeah.
imagine there's no rook b1 check because knight is here. And so he must capture the f2 in case if he wants to give a threat, because knight e1 is also not really something to be worried about, I guess. Or he needs to worry, okay, there's a rook here, so no need to worry about it. So rook e7, h6, rook takes e6, queen d4, rook c2. Let's say knight f2, rook takes f2, knight takes f2. And the point is, if queen f2, there's a queen takes c3.
Now we're up like 3 pawns, 2 pawns, 2 pawns.
2 pawns up. So white cannot really capture, I guess. But let's say white can play king g2 like moves, and then we have a knight e3 check coming in. So it's important that black captures with the d knight so that there's a knight e3 fork coming in.
Mm.
And I think that's why Nathan is taking his time and calculating all these nuisances. Meanwhile, we have a result on board 2. Guys, we will come back to this board very shortly. But the breaking news is we have a result on game between David and Stewart No, where David has won his game to score.
It looks
Uh,
like, yeah, those, it's usually a bit funky on those scoreboards. It looks like he ended up with,
so he scored half, 1, 2, 1.5, 2. Okay, so
yeah, this would be his 3rd point. So he got 3 out of 4.
3 out of 4, not bad. Probably getting the podium. Let's see what happened in the game. We'll update about the rankings later on. It was a Reti with G3, usually not so popular. Or I think it's going into King's Indian attack. 21, it's typical KIA. And then B3. I mean, it's a weird move order. Either you go E4 directly or you just go B3, bishop B2. But okay. And then he goes like one move on the king side, then one move on the queen side, then again one move on the queen side, king side, then one move on the queen side. So I expect next move is going to be this. No, because maybe D4. Then why B3? Just to confuse your opponent. And now this is completely unnecessary. Like you just go knight f1, bishop f4 in this kind of setups. But now this b3 is just going to give black an easy game. But black wants to defend. Okay, wow, wow, wow. Is this game from open section or premier section?
This game's the premiere.
Premier. Okay. Bishop b2. f6. Wow. I could not get a single move. Like, why on earth you play f6?
Yeah,
Your bishop on the close diagonal. And just play a5, b5. Just try to push those pawns. The king side belongs to the white. Why you are disturbing things there? Takes. Bishop f6. I mean, white can also simply play knight e5, knight f3. But no. They want to trade pieces. And go knight e5. Max. Fine. Simplify. 25. Rook e7. f4. Or take f4. Okay. Rook e8. And now it's going to be easy game for white, more or less. You just double your rooks in the e file. Knight f3 to start with. d4. Rook e2. And yeah, it's going to be easy game. Good pieces versus bad pieces. And if you give bishop, then this was the only good piece black was having. So, but sad. He took 25, rook e5. Rook e1. No doubt black lost this. And now just g4, g5 is coming next. In fact, directly g4 was also an option. No need to play h3. Wait, what? This looks like a blunder. Rook e6 is coming, no?
yeah.
But no, he doesn't want a pawn. Why? Rook e6, 93, probably.
Yeah,
And you can
that
see
would be a little annoying.
yeah, but then you have rook e2, king f2, and but bishop d5. This is a wait. If this queen pawn in endgame is winning, why not?
Good point.
Is this winning? Probably because this is just going to be one pawn, and you have outside passer. But this again b3, it's suspicious at times. Like, but okay, maybe it doesn't matter. Yeah, this is rock solid. You don't need to react to whatever he plays, and you just push those pawns to convert the advantage.
Yeah.
Yeah, nice. Ah, easy peasy for white. That was a classic finish.
Mm.
Well done, David.
Yeah, he didn't really do anything wrong. It's like you said, that f6 move by Noah kind of hurt him.
Yeah, I think rather than white winning this game, I think it was black who did everything for white. Like he didn't give any threats. For no reason, he played f6, traded pieces, and of course, the final blunder was taking on f3. Like you cannot hope to survive or escape in the premier section at least after playing moves like bishop f3. No, not at all. Like you do whatever you take here. You play king f7 also. You play knight f8. You play anything on earth, but you cannot really hope that you will take this knight with the best bishop in the position and just escape in the endgame. No, you're going to lose sooner or later. The karma's gonna hit at some point. So that's it. That's a victory for David. We have one more result coming in from the board 5, and Robert has lost in a very nice way, it looks. So he was losing everything, if not getting checkmated. Let's see how many pieces he has sacrificed. Or let's ask our audience to guess.
That's a
Let's
good
give
idea.
them. Yeah, let's. What do you think, Michael? Okay, let's start with you.
I'll guess 3.
3. Okay, 3 sacrifices or 3 blunders?
Both.
Both.
I'll
Okay.
say all 3 sacrifices were blunders.
Okay. Chad, do let us know. What do you think? 3 sacrifices and 3 blunders. Mm, let's see how many sacrifices and how many blunders in real. It's a e4 game, so it could be even more. But 3 is a safe bet for sure. And I'm surprised, they are playing the Sicilian position in like first 3 moves or 4 moves. And okay, what could be novelty here? H4. Knight C3, no? Okay. Robert is playing normal chess. That's why he lost, I guess. Yeah, he's playing two. I mean, this is too like Russian approach, yeah. Typical book-like chess. Like everything, he's not even playing bishop e3 or f4. He's like complete typical Taimano mainline. And now it's black who plays b5, trying to deviate from the main line. You can take on c6 here. Rook e1 is not so good. Now the right move is bishop here, and after this, we can just play bishop takes c6. But sometimes knight d5 is a possibility, and we have some crazy sacrifices. Because knight f6. Oh, wow. I mean, why? I mean, just why? You can just play knight c6, and you can pre-move e5, irrespective of he plays this takes or queen takes. And you have bishop f3 coming in with some pressure along this line and this diagonal. But no, he plays the first blunder. So far it's 1. Knight b5. A b5, knight b5, queen b8 probably. Yeah. And now what next? What this rook is doing on e1? We don't have knight d5. We don't have knight d6. We don't have bishop f4. So absolutely one blunder so far. Bishop f1. Now he's planning to get e5. But still it's a free bishop a6. Yeah, of course. c4. And now the power of bishop is less. And bishop b4 comes with a tempo. Already losing, yeah?
Yeah, I would say so. It'll take some work, but he should be.
Yeah. e5, yeah, he goes for it. So I would say this is a blunder, but sacrifice.
Yeah, because
desperate sacrifice.
one
And
of
if he
our
goes rook
viewers,
e5, it's gonna be blunder.
one of
No?
our viewers guessed three um, three sacks, two blunders. So we also have that on the table.
Okay. Three sacks, two blunders. So far we had one blunder and one sacrifice. And what do you call this? Like this is a sacrifice or a blunder? Because this rook was anyway feeling very, very awkward here.
I can't tell yet. Bishop f4, bishop e1, queen e1, and the knight is a bit loose.
So let's say it's a sacrifice.
Yeah.
Two sacrifices done. Bishop b5. Wait. Why on earth you take on b5 first? Why not this? Okay, so
Yeah.
maybe the point is bishop b5, bishop b5. He just wants to play d6. And after bishop f6, what? Take here, and then he will take, and then he will take. But then white would be happy to do that. He gets an extra piece, and he'll be only down an exchange.
Yeah, that bishop e5 doesn't make sense.
And what was happening for this? Why he got scared? Maybe knight d6 was something he was scared of. You move the king, and then he plays bishop e5, and
Maybe that was it.
yeah, probably. So it's a sacrifice for sure. It cannot be blunder.
No.
So bishop d5. He goes rook e5. Now, this was necessary or totally unnecessary. So it's threatening rook b5 followed by rook b4. Let's say in case of a castle. And for bishop d6 also there's rook b5. So how do you save these threats? And it's threatening rook e6. So what is the move which saves black here? Probably just sacrifice the queen. Yeah, because you already piece up.
That's yeah. No, that I think that does make the most sense. Come to think of it.
I guess there's just no way to save the bishop and Shaikh at the same time.
Yeah, it's getting scary for black, so maybe you have to.
Maybe bishop a4 was there. Yeah, maybe like this. So bishop a4. The rook e6 makes no sense because this is hanging. You play b3. And now you have two options. One is, let's say, you consider bishop d6, and other is you also attack this because that's anyway you're going to lose the queen. I'm in support of this because it attacks the rook e6, let's say fe6 or d6, bishop d6, and still, I think white is fine. He has bishop pair. But wait, can you play bishop b3 here? Now, this is very, very tricky. You play ab3, there's a rook a1. Oops, suddenly queen is under attack. And you play queen b3, there's a queen d6. Just in time.
Oh, do you have queen f3?
Yeah, you move the queen and you just you also just move the queen. That's it. And this is hanging.
Well, now we can take on b3, right?
Queen b3, yeah? Yeah, maybe, yeah. So maybe queen f3 saves the day. So I need to play queen d8 or something? Probably.
And now,
Keep an attack
I
on
mean, that
this.
doesn't work. I want to play c5, but then just bishop
And
a4.
then, yeah. And queen d6, knight d7 is there. And this guy is still hanging, making it sad.
Fascinating.
So black was winning. If black would have found bishop a4 right away, like why not to give a threat if you, instead of just defending the bishop?
Yeah.
But Ivan played bishop c6. He wanted to sacrifice his queen, and Robert got the queen, but he was left with not enough pieces to sacrifice further. So queen d4, castles. I think he needs to play a3, b4 quickly and try to get something. That's his only hope. Because black has so many pieces, and now once we get bishop c5, it's game over. Just reasonable. Yeah, now this is under attack. You have to play b3 or something, e5, e4. I don't know. So many moves.
Yeah, black's play is easier.
Yeah, just e5. Also, you could put the bishop here. Basically, you can just chill as black. Yeah, even if you can play g6 and still be fine down a queen. That good is black's position. So I don't know what to call it. So it's a sacrifice as well as blunder.
No, we have to just give him one. We'll say just blunder.
Yeah, we have reached that position where sacrifice is equal to blunder.
Yeah. So two and two.
Yeah, 3 all. Bishop b4, g4. Okay, so that was a good diversion. So bishop c5 again, sad. Rook f1. This is not Robert. I mean, if you had to play rook f1, better resign. Because that's not the most something which Robert will be happy playing it. Yeah, only thing you should not blunder is this, because then queen e7 is coming, which you definitely took care of. g5, bishop d3, and he resigned after. Okay, even knight e4 was. This is the last trap, so preventing it. And after bishop f7, he's preventing the f2. Oops. Wait, what's happening? So rook into f7, guys, bishop b4 check, and it's a mate here. So bishop f7 is for sure a blunder. So, and this is, I don't know what to say. The game is already over, I guess. Yeah, and okay, this was just matter of a technique. And yeah, he resigned after this when he was losing the rook. So imagine, guys, he won the queen but lost 2 rooks, 2 bishops, and a knight in the process. Must be very, very tough. And he did all this in 7 minutes. Sad end for Robert. Okay, we have another interesting game going on board 3. It is down to 3 minutes. So let's stick to the live board position. So what's the evaluation here? 2 bishops. What is the last one? Knight b4. So black is aiming for knight d3 here. And at the same time, I don't know, I like white for some reason. Which side you would pick, Michael? Probably it's also possible to play. Okay. Probably it's also possible to play AB5, CB5, and something like bishop a3, bishop d6 in case of a knight d3. But maybe there is a knight c2, which is a bit annoying. So maybe AB5, CB5, and rook a5 is the way to go forward. In case of a knight d3, at least white has take and rook b5. But that's again a controversial position. Like you are remaining with this kind of a pawn structure, but it is also stable at the same time. Like you put king on g7, knight on e5, and I don't know how this bishop is going to make life out of it. Like it just stuck, and this king might come like this, and black could have some fun like this. If this happens, it will be the game of the day. One of the most fascinating maneuvers. And you cannot even play rook c1 as white. Come on, Eddie. We are looking forward to this. Fisher would be very proud if Eddie goes for this. Okay, maybe let's just see this from the beginning. It was an English opening, going into Reti kind of stuff. So if you play d4, it goes into Catalan. And it goes in some kind of a triangle Slav setup, which is not so good in this particular position, I believe. White can just play queen c2, or even there are moves like knight e5 and d3 like thing. So there's one line, d3 takes, and they play knight e5. And it's like enough compensation. But maybe not here. It's after b5. So maybe queen c2, or maybe a4 is the way. To go forward, you prevent b5, and you just want to play queen c2 next. Is your mic sorted? Not yet. Okay. Maybe try using the desktop mic or something like this. D takes c4. And in the game, we witness a4, queen b6, queen c2, a typical Reti stuff. And Edie thought for 20 minutes, burned so much time, and found a way to take his opponent out of the theory. He played knight d4. I don't know. Maybe take and knight d4 is also an option. Because he played knight d4, he takes, you take. And again, it will take 2 moves to win this pawn. And black will be having options to defend it. So maybe the better was just take it and go knight d4.
Yeah, is it good now?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll just go without my headset this stream.
Yeah. So knight d4 takes. Is there any echo happening?
Not that I can hear, no.
Actually, I'm hearing my voice back. I think let's do one thing. Just try keeping your audio off for a while, like sound. Okay, cool. Yeah. So guys, Michael will be back soon. Sorry for the technical difficulties. We'll sort it out very shortly. So I was talking about we have bishop e6 coming in. And yeah, Jacob finds a way to attack this pawn twice. And now if black wants to really defend the pawn, he has to give up a bishop. And this is another typical idea in this kind of positions. You just get rook b1. And many times it is difficult to defend this. But for now, I can see black can just get knight d7 or knight a6, knight c5. So again, this becomes a controversial. And if he gets long castle, then it's disaster for white. Because the structure is totally gone. He can come here, he can capture on a4. So he attacks the pawn. And maybe he can just castle long here, get knight d5 at some point. Not now, but maybe even king e7. He's going for b5, preparing b5. This is also fine. But there's just no need to rush with b5. Black can just play long castle, and whenever white attacks the pawn, you go b5. Because now, like, he can go bishop a3 and disturb your maneuvering. let's say you go bishop a3 and bishop d6, and the bishop is very, very annoying in the middle of the board. Then maybe we'll take and go rook b1, and it's very hard to defend all those loose pawns. Instead, he goes f4, f5, aiming at the bishop. And okay, it's a plan. And some plan is better than having a no plan. But now bishop d5 or bishop d7, both are possible. It goes here. And we have this position with AD down to 3 minutes. And Jacob goes for e5. We saw ab5, cb5, rook a5. There's a beautiful knight d3 there with the Fischer-like maneuver in the endgame. So Jacob goes for e5, trying to open his bishop pair, hitting c6, knight d5. Will he go e6 is the next question. Let us know in the chat, guys, and I'm gonna read your chat. If you have any questions, do ask. Will he go e6 is the next. Hi, Johnny. Hello, Chess World. Guys, if you're watching us regularly, do like the stream, subscribe. This helps us to reach broader audience and spread the word. Let the world know how Robert plays, how entertaining chess happens every Thursday at the Minnesota Chess Club. Do share with your friends if you like some segment, clip it, and tag us on social media with Chess Castle of Minnesota for to feed to get featured in in official broadcast or on social media page of the club. So what's coming in chat? Let me see. Thank you, Johnny. Thank you. Meanwhile, ED down to 1.5 minutes, rather 97 seconds. And still it's a long way to go. Just move 22. He has to play the whole end game. So as a white, guys, what you should play here? Which tricky move you will play? Maybe it is just planning to play knight d3 next, short castles. As a white, how you will confuse black? Will you go e6 or will you just take and go for rook a5? Let us know in the chat box. We do have one more result on board 4. Thomas has won against Davids on board number 4. Sorry, Thomas has lost with white pieces as he was dropping a piece and the queens were getting traded. So he resigned. And on board 5, we already witnessed Robert game. So we'll come back to these two games or board 4 later. Right now, I'm just going to stick at Edie's game because he's down to 2 minutes and anything is possible. I would like to know from you guys, are you going to play e6 like move or ab5, cb5, and rook a5? What do you think? What's a good bait to confuse your opponent with 97 seconds remaining on the clock against 30 minutes? Yeah, definitely, Johnny. E6 is also I was looking at, and this definitely asks lots of questions to black. For example, you take here, Of course, we can take this at least, but we can maybe also do bishop g7 like move, and rook g8. We have some f6 business, and and people are usually expecting like take and rook to a5 or something. Of course, you can do that, but also you have rook a7 check, and if suddenly bishop e4 like move comes in, you are in trouble. You don't know what to do. You try playing knight f6 and you lose instantly after rook a7 check. You think that rook f6 king g7 is there, but now suddenly you are under pin and you're down a piece. You can trick like this in time pressure situations and win material. Option one. Also, you can play bishop f3 like moves, but I did not play it because then knight f6 works, as after rook a7 he can go king g6. So something like this needs to be cooked up. But if you are um, perfect with the move order, it will help more. Like this is maybe better move order. Like you play ab5 first. Why not to keep this knight hanging all the time? Yes, you have rook a5 at least if like the worst situation. You also have rook a7. But I think we should include e6. This is very important. The moment we open up the bishop, like black is under pressure and the chances of black blundering increases. So let's say he plays f6 and now you have got a permanent pass pawn for the whole game. And maybe you can play rook a5, maybe you can play rook a7, maybe you can just double, you can go rook d7, attack this knight, or also simply go like this. So this definitely opens up lots of options for you guys. And I think this is the recommended move order. Like you take on b5 first, and then you try to, of course, e5, and then you try to go some kind of e6 here. Will definitely put black in trouble. And if black has less than 2 minutes, it's really, really hard to deal with. And I think Jacob is doing a good job. He's thinking, he's not rushing so much. He has 25 minutes on the clock. He's making sure he's calculating lines and making sure that which line is the best for him, or which would be giving tougher moves to AD to find in time pressure. So you can think for like 5 to 10 minutes and then just blitz out. Like you calculate, you believe your calculation, and then just blitz it out. That's a professional way of doing it. Because for here, like in this position, it has to calculate everything. He has to look at AB, rook a5. He has to look at rook a7. He has to look at e6. He has to look at, I don't know, f6 is also an option. Like this is also an option. Like you play f6, g6, and then suddenly e6 comes in. You capture this f7. Maybe this is not a good idea. You can just sacrifice and exchange there. But again, you confuse ab5 and you don't know what's happening. Like you're not going for the rook. Suddenly you're going for the mating ideas. Like you take this, you have rook a7, king here. And yeah, it looks awkward to have king there, and you just win a rook. So you can try to confuse in many ways. So just calculate it out and play any one line, and then it will be very, very difficult for black to meet with little time on the clock.
Can you hear me?
Yes, that's perfect.
Good. Okay. It just took a bit longer than usual for my computer to get its brains after restarting.
Yeah, good things always takes time. So yeah, let's go. Shall we check out the next game? We have a result on board 4.
Yeah.
So can you tell us a little bit about the players?
So David's he's been playing at the club now for probably like 2 or so years, maybe a little longer. He's about 1800, maybe a bit higher. And then Thomas, he's more of a veteran, and he's around, I think he has a floor of 2000. He used to be a master.
Okay, so a good matchup in the final round. Two strong players playing against each other in an open Sicilian game. Probably Accelerated Dragon. They play knight b3 here. Yeah, you need to defend both, so only move knight b3. Wait, is this correct? Or they go queen c7? No, queen c7 will lead into this. So yeah, queen d8. Knight c3. Then why not queen c7? If you wanted to capture here, like why not queen c7? Yeah, like if you're
True.
aiming to capture, but
Yeah.
maybe then white will play queen d2. I don't know. Not a dragon expert, guys. I used to play back when I was just 7 or 8 years old.
Hmm.
So back then theory was not that developed. I just had one book of dragon, and back then, okay, computers and internet was there, but not really so advanced chess based or technology or chesscom or leeches was there. So uh, back then moves like this used to be considered to be bad. Like you should never give the bishop was the concept. But nowadays in modern chess, there's something called pawn structure and people play for it.
Hmm.
Okay, we'll leave it to the audience, but queen d8 is the main line. Knight c3, bishop c3 takes. And I can see some modern GM grandmaster games in this line. And it's I think pretty decent. So White's claim is that you don't have the dragon bishop anymore. I can just do whatever I want on the king side. I can attack your king the way I want. I don't have to eliminate the bishop. I have the control over dark squares. At the same time, black is claiming, okay, fine, I don't have dragon bishop, but I have also not castle. Maybe I'll just play like this, try to attack those pawns, or maybe go long castle at times. Maybe go h5 and wait for white to see what he's doing. Let's see how it goes. This is a relatively new position or a fresh position. He attacks the pawn, and we do have some weakness in white's camp. Oh wow, he goes castle. That's a risky choice. And white didn't try to attack. Maybe that's the reason he lost. Because you need to attack black. If you do not attack the black king after eliminating the bishop, you're going to lose because you have bad pawn structure. You need to start attacking right away, good or bad. You have to sacrifice something there. Try to open up h file and just attack.
Yeah.
And yeah, since the Anish course has been out, there is no respect for the bishop. They just let the bishop hang over there with the bishop on c4 or with the knight on e4. They are just happy giving up the bishop.
Hmm.
And now both the bishops are out of the board. Oh, come on, he's not gonna take now. Just b6, just keeping it solid tight, no c5, not allowing white to open up the position, just keeping it tight. And Davids was in his prep. He played this very, very fast with full time on the clock. Meanwhile, Thomas was not prepared for this and eventually lost the game. And the moment he tries to open up the position, he loses pawn as well as the bishop. So just a simple win for black. He can play this, but in my opinion, you can play f5 as well as knight c3. And many times these endgames are also preferable for black. You cannot really play rook c1 or this rook c1. There's a knight here coming. The pawns are weak. The knight could easily go back to c5, f5. The king would come in, e5 would come. Black is just on the driver's seat. Also, it's possible to play f5, and the resulting endgame is also preferable for black because of the pawn structure.
Hmm.
So just I think game over for black. Sorry, white in the opening itself. One-sided so far. Queen c5 is coming. Well, this is not really needed. You can just develop pieces or go e5 later. Maybe just preventing f5 makes sense. Wait a second. So what's wrong if I take on f5?
Maybe he didn't like takes queen g5 and king
Yeah,
g7.
rook f5 maybe, yeah.
And yeah, rook f5.
And yeah, there's a perpetual or something. So I missed it for sure because that's why I was not happy playing such kind of moves. It unnecessarily weakens up. You play knight g4, and probably the idea is just to get around or maybe just take and somehow use the f2 square.
Yeah, I like it.
h3 was played, knight e5 probably. You save everything, and you have a new problem, but probably there's a king h8 and life is sorted. Let's just rook g8, and yeah. Now, in this position, you need your rook on e4 or f4 already. Then you can flex. Rook e4, and the point is now not knight d3, queen h7, but rook h4, because the queen would be coming if we just capture on h7. Now, how do you defend rook h4? Just this? No, rook e5 is there.
Yeah, I'm trying to wonder how Thomas lost this game. It does actually look scary.
Isn't this a forced mate?
Yeah, I don't see how it isn't. Um,
Wow. Wow, he found knight d7 and knight f8.
oh, backwards knight moves. Ah,
Come on, wait. So if I would have done with this, I could have done this, and then I could have played f7, then rook g7, and then the bishop into g6. Rook g6, f8, knight f8, rook f8, rook f8, queen f8, and I have a perpetual. Maybe rook f4 was the way.
that's
So
what I
the idea is
usually
same.
want. Yeah.
So probably this is the only difference, right?
Mm-hmm.
And now my idea was to hit twice on e6 and g6. Like you start with rook e6,
Mm-hmm.
or shall I include this? So if I include this, I don't believe in these things. So rook e6. If you do not capture, I have this. So you must capture. I have f7. If you go here, you are gone. So we need to play rook g7. And now I want to play this. And maybe for this, it's a draw, but maybe you have simply knight f8. And black wins still. Yeah, this is a draw after f8, and you must capture. And okay, this is would be a mate. So you have to capture, and it's a draw by repetition. But this is a knight f8, backward knight move. The best defender just comes in time to defend everything. And now the rook f5, bishop f5 is not working anymore. So it's going to be win for black. Wait, is he preparing some queen h7 business here?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, if you go with the queen, yes, the double piece sack works. If you go some random place, yes, it works. Queen e5, just centralizing. Maybe d5 next, and then it will be white under pressure. Ah, come on, he
Ooh.
just blundered the f6. Okay, then rest is a matter of not even a technique, I would say. Yeah, he blundered pieces and resigned. Okay, I think Davids was the deserved winner of this game.
Mm-hmm.
Let's put it like this. And Jacob has not played yet. I mean, I'm surprised. Wait, what? They played some moves, but no e6 yet. We're talking about like whatever happens, white must include this e6.
Yeah.
Maybe castle was there, and maybe it was not a big deal. So it is doing well, playing well in time pressure. So rook a7, black goes castle. And still e6 is possible, like it will just transpose. You cannot capture the g7 hangs. And if you play f6, then this pawn is a permanent headache.
Yeah.
Knight c6 also lands to rook f7. So what do you do here as black?
Maybe rook c7.
Yeah, rook c7. But I can take and go something like this, yeah? And it would be
Yeah.
losing some skill. Not an easy position for black for sure, but white needs to put some pressure. Without putting pressure, it will be difficult, I guess, to
And
win this.
I think Jacob will play that. I think he'll find e6.
Yeah, but he's like taking so much time. Like last 20 minutes, he has just made two moves, and we have not witnessed e6 so far. So, and I don't see any other move like in this position. What else for white?
Yeah. He's kind of forced to play out. No other options.
Maybe bishop a3 is one option.
Yeah, but I mean rook d8 and
And yeah, black would defend everything. So first thing first, I think it's the right time to go e6.
And Jacob does like to use his time as well, so maybe he's just being extra cautious, which he
Yeah,
doesn't need to be, but that could be an explanation.
maybe quite possible. So we do have result on board 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, not 3, 2, 4, 5. And we have a top board match going on. And it's rook versus knight. It's going to be draw, but they're gonna play. How we'll end up here. Let's just see that quickly. And then we'll go to the open section afterwards. So knight c6, queen b7, black refused repetition. And we left it around knight d3 moment, where he was supposed to play rook e7 as per our calculation. No, he played rook b1. Makes sense as well. He's threatening a mate. As long as you're threatening a mate, your move is perfect. So rook g8. Wait, now, wow, this is a beautiful idea. Okay, who can spot checkmate in 3 or mate in 2 after this in chat box?
Yeah. Let us know in the chat, guys. Why is that knight not hanging?
Why knight e4 is not a blunder? Let us know in chat box quickly, and we will try to guess your elo.
Yes. We'll let Nubair try, because I'll know
Come
already.
on. Okay, but you have to answer for it. We cannot guess your elo without looking at your answers. So queen e4 and white to play your move, guys.
Okay, we got one strong
Yeah,
player in the chat giving the answer, and then one person
yeah.
laughing.
Those who found the mate, guys, you solve puzzle every day, so you are super grandmaster level. If you spot it in less than 10 seconds, you are grandmaster level. If you spot in no time, in a blink of eye, you are like Magnus Carlsen level. So everything depends upon how much time you take to spot it.
Yeah.
Decides your level. And the game is ended in a draw. Of course, guys, queen e4, queen g8 is a mate, and rook b8 is coming. Typical puzzle rush. So there was a knight f2, and wait a sec. So there's a queen g3 coming in. And after king f1, the king is exposed. And for that reason, and the point was very simple for queen f2. There's a queen d3 check. The rook is hanging, and black should have won this. Looking at this lonely king with no defenders. But somehow he did not play knight e4 because of same issue. Now again he's threatening the same guys. So queen g8, king g8, and rook b8 was not working because there's a queen on g3. But after rook b7, there's a hidden threat of queen g8.
Yes.
And probably the right move was to not h5, but h6 or something.
But then, yeah, then we lose the knight.
Yeah, then you lose the knight, right? Sorry. So he played rook d8. And yeah, this is going to be draw for sure. And that's what happened in the game. After refusing draw or repetition, they ended up in this game and the game and settle for a draw because there's nothing much white or black could do. You want to play rook f4 or rook f2 as a white, but the knight defends it. So probably we'll have to try this setup. But then there are some checks. I don't know. Maybe just rook g8 is also enough to make a draw. But then there's a rook f7 check. I think they should have tried this. But maybe this check is enough. You cannot go up. There's a check. You go down. You get a check. Or you go here, just repetition.
Yeah.
So you went rook e6 with the idea of maybe like this. Sorry. So you went rook e6 with the idea like this. So black gave a check, and if he goes here, he'll just pin it. Yeah, that's it. And now the old idea does not work because of the pin or the self pin.
Looks
So
like
Michael,
George.
who has won the tournament after this draw?
They actually tied for first with three. I believe three out of. Well, actually, now because of that draw, I'm gonna check again. But there might be a three-way tie um
David joining in.
with David Bocek. Yeah, yeah. Um,
Yeah, it's good. Why to have one winner?
we have one win all the time. Usually Jordan or Nathan usually wins, but yeah, it looks like a three-way tie between those three.
Sharing is caring, guys. So three champions are still
Looks like your camera froze again. Yeah, it's definitely not been the night for tech over at the. Well, I shouldn't say over at the castle, but for the commentators. So if we go back to the games, so congrats to Jordan, Nathan, and David Bocek. Big congrats there. Eddie and Jacob are still battling it out, and it looks like after castles, Jacob did not play the move e6 um, that me and New Bear were suggesting, opening up the bishop and pushing your not pass pawn, but your I forget the name of that pawn, but advancing that and opening things up would have been nice. But instead, he played Rook fa1. I don't believe we have that game up though. Looks like New Bear is coming back.
yeah.
Yep, I can hear you.
Okay, sorry for that.
Yeah, no worries.
Let's go.
How
So
about
let's go back to Edie's game.
And it looks like you played Rook fa1 and he didn't play e6.
And Eddie on 30 seconds, just like h6. Okay, I don't know what. I didn't expect this. Okay, I play h6. Let's see. So just a waiting move. Maybe Rook d8 was better, trying to improve pieces. But he's like, okay, let me get rid of the back rank. And now maybe this is a follow-up, but then knight c6, bishop d5 is there. So that's why you need rook on d8.
Shouldn't he have done something though, Eddie, at least to prevent e6?
Like rook e8, you're saying?
Yeah, because I
But
think
the
that would.
problem with e6 is this d7 is so. I don't think he can prevent it. Only thing I
Yeah,
think he can do is rook d8, let's say, e6, and some kind of f6. And just pray after this that this pawn doesn't queen.
yeah. Because eventually, hopefully, Black wants to move his knight and then play b4 and c3 and have his own pass pawn.
Yeah, definitely.
So h6 seems a little. I'm not a huge fan of h6 just because it seems like Jacob will eventually play e6 because it's his only plan in the position. So Eddie
Yeah.
might as well kind of force him to play it right off the bat, and then um, get his own counterplay going on the queen side.
Yeah, and then the good news is Jacob is also having 8 minutes, so we will have moves faster, slightly faster. And I think he'll push e6 because now what I mean, he cannot blunder this, right? We don't expect Jacob to blunder this. Okay, it's not a blunder, but then okay, we can expect this. There's a knight. Okay, there's a knight d3. But that is also bad. Like bishop d5, you take on b2, you just take on b7 and go here. I think chances of black survival are very, very less. Like rook a5 is also winning, d5, e6 is also winning. Bishop a3 is annoying. Let's say rook a5, you just play rook b8, and bishop a3 comes, and you don't know what to do. Okay, you can play rook d8, and yes, I mean, at the end of the day, if white wants to win this, he has to push e6. There's just no other way.
Maybe the more accurate way to say it is if white doesn't want to lose this, he has to play e6.
Yeah, that's the right statement.
Let me check what games we haven't looked at because
Yeah, we have looked at the game from the open section where John has won against Aditya. John Baker, probably the champion of the open section. We had Srijan defeating Jeremy. And we have Maxwell Smigel losing to Perez Carlos. And Nathan played double game. Probably he managed to win there. But okay, we cannot be sure about it. So we'll come to these three games of John, Jeremy, and Perez once we have a result on Jacob versus AD.
because as far as the open section goes, it looks like Nathan Hoover and Kevin Lamon are leading with both 3 points, 3 points out of three, but they're playing each other, and unfortunately that game hasn't been uploaded yet, so we kind of have to wait for that to see who wins the open.
Okay, guys, so stay tuned for the open section. But right now, you have to guess what Jacob will play. We have been saying e6 from a long time, but if not e6, will he play rook a5 or will he go rook b7, rook a7 ideas? Let us know in chat box. If you are a friend of a Jacob, let's see if you can guess how he thinks. Or let us know in chat whom you are rooting for, Jacob or AD. Let's see who has got the more fans.
Yeah, it's kind of tough to say what he'll play. Oh,
That's
because
rough.
rook a5, we're guessing Eddie's gonna play rook b8, right?
Yeah. If he plays e6, the game ends. But he's not playing e6, so.
You think white's gonna win after e6?
Yeah, with 2 minutes on clock for black, I think it's very, very difficult to handle. Like so much pressure. Do bishops, open diagonals, open files. And black only ways, only task for black is defend, defend, defend. And black is not a machine, so very practical chances after a6.
Yeah, I think Eddie could still hold that, but like e6, f6, and then I don't know.
Rook 6 is, just rook d7 and just double, yeah?
Um,
Looks very,
yeah,
very good.
maybe.
Maybe some kind of a knight f4, and if you could get some tactical way to get the bishops, yes, he can escape, but very tough usually in general. He can just play bishop f3 and say what next. And you have to answer like so many questions like this playing with black pieces here. But if Jacob comes down to time pressure and he starts worrying about his position, what to do, the game is open for everyone.
Yeah, he's definitely spent too much time over these last couple moves. They weren't super difficult to play, and now he's just making it harder on himself.
Today we have so diplomatic chat. They are just so good. Like they're saying it's draw. No one is rooting for any particular guy because they're afraid, after some time, Jacob and AD will check the stream and they don't want to lose friends. We have e6, so I think it's going to be Jacob winning this one.
Yeah, we should ask chat because New Bear's pretty positive that Jacob's gonna win. I'm gonna say Eddie's gonna hold. We'll see what chat thinks. Um, but
If white does not win after playing a6, I mean, then white is never gonna win this.
Eddie has had a lot of time to yeah. So let's see f6, and then you're saying rook d7, and then
Yeah,
knight f4, rook
and just win
a7,
double. Yeah,
and yeah, that's over. So f6, rook d7. Oh, sorry. Yeah, f6, rook d7. Maybe we
maybe
play
like this.
yeah, rook d8.
This move had some problem, right? We discussed take, and just loses. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
But
I'm
now there's one idea of knight c7 because of this rook on a1, knight
Oh,
c2. I
we
mean,
missed this. Yeah, because of now the rook's on a1.
bishop f8, knight into a1. But still, these knights are very bad pieces.
Oh, but then yeah, we have e7, right?
But then the bishop is stuck. You can never
But
queen.
but then we promote, right?
But the knight is here, right?
Oh yeah, the knight's there. I'm like,
So now the things are getting messier with 2 minutes for white, and EDA just played on 5 seconds. So the game is on. Although this is simpler, take and rook a7. But then he might sacrifice. But okay, it's lost. So rook c7. But okay, now black has some chances because there is no double rook pressure on this.
what I like is like bishop a3. I guess bishop a3 still ends into the same problem, but
Yeah, then you can play knight c2. I think only move
I think it is the only move because if he plays,
bishop f8, and now he needs to find something. So I was talking about this move in the beginning, bishop d6, because e7. I think it's not good. Like you can just play anything like just b4 b3. Yeah. So bishop d6, knight e8 probably, and now this is not working. There is no mate. So you play what? Bishop b4, bishop here. He attacks. So ED can also win if game goes like this. That's why the rook was better on f1. No knight c2, guys.
yeah, just play e6 right away.
Is this live position? Back to live. Yeah, he played this. And now, whether you like it or not, you have no option but to play knight c2, which is already a good sign for black.
One of our viewers, actually one of our commentators, said that I'll bet my worthless NFTs on Eddie surviving.
Yeah, it is surviving this for sure. As long as he's not losing on time, he's winning this.
Oh boy.
Wait for it, guys. You will get the result in less than 5 minutes. Wait, what? Why are you going to a6? Why you are going to corner? I mean, how many times I'll witness this knight going some? Today, every single player with black managed to get the g at knight to a6. And my question is why? Just why? Why you are going to a6 from g8? Guys, that's not the purpose of life. AD panicked and now he's losing a piece. Okay, what's the point giving exchange? It's going to be a loss now.
Yeah, he just missed knight c2. Wow. Huh. I'm surprised. Yeah, Eddie would usually find something like that. Even under time pressure, he's more than capable of seeing knight c2. And he did have time to calculate it because Jacob was spending so much time.
Okay, if we get this pawn for for free, maybe you can still survive. But that's too much to expect.
Have we looked at the John Baker versus Aditya game? Uh-oh, looks like your camera froze again. Because John Baker was going into this round, I think, on 2 points, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, he won his first 2 rounds, and then he lost to Nathan. So then now he's playing Aditya, and looks like John won to go to 3 out of 4. But we're still waiting on seeing who won Nathan versus Kevin Landman for all the marbles. But now that Nathan's done with his game with Jordan, maybe he'll have time to upload that. But only one game going in the top 8 boards, which is the game we're looking at between Eddie and Jacob. Now that Nathan's done with his game with Jordan, maybe he'll have time to that. But only one game going in the top 8 boards, which is the game we're looking at between Eddie and Jacob. I can hear you in my background there.
Hi guys.
Yep, you're back.
Yeah. I don't know. My laptop is just giving up in between.
Yeah, it's been a bad tech night for the commentators.
We are doing boomer, alternate.
Looks like some more moves have been played in Jacob versus Eddie. And
yeah. So after Rook B1, we saw Knight A6, and Jacob got an exchange over there, and then some exchanges. And yeah, if this pawn falls, the game is more or less over.
yeah.
Yeah, and he'll just take the knight and Rook D7 and game over.
So that means Jacob will finish on 2.5 out of 4. And he only lost to Jordan, so it's a pretty good month for Jacob. And it looks like his posted rating is 1872. So Jacob is, let me look. He's climbing towards 1900, which is impressive. He hasn't been playing super long, at least over the board. I think he's only been playing maybe like 3 years. At least consistently, he's only been playing like 2 or 3 years, I think. Let's see what his live rating is.
Meanwhile, this move is like still keeps some hopes alive. Like he's not giving up those pawns easily. But okay, if he takes and goes like this, he's probably gonna drop those pawns. But still, it is trying. He's like not giving up, because some of his friends are expecting that he will hold this in the chat. And it is like, I'm gonna give a try. I cannot disappoint my friends. Even if I lose, I should give a try. And that's a good fighting spirit. Shall we check the game from the open section?
Yeah, have we looked at John Baker versus Aditya yet?
No, we haven't. We didn't check. Let's just see quickly, yeah?
Yeah.
So it was Bishop's opening. I was expecting, Queen H5, Knight F6, and Queen F7.
Castle players know better.
The way it is going. Look, I told you the PPs are going back, and then queen g3. I like this maneuvering, man. Like you get queen to g3, very nice square, and the bishop is also not developed. Like
Yeah,
this is a dream project.
it is.
And wait, knight d for what? He's gonna play king d1 or bishop d3? Or queen e5 is
Uh,
there. My bad. My bad.
yeah.
Knight f6, d3, h6. Okay, bishop g5 is prevented. f4, and white is winning this. Wait, knight h5 is there, no?
Yes. Yeah.
And then g3. It's very deep, yeah. This hangs. Okay, let's see the game. Knight h5. I don't know. No, not it's not happening yet. Bishop f7. They know tactics. Great.
Mm-hmm.
They just. I don't know who's blundering. White or black?
Yeah, it's a crazy game, but John's definitely gonna come out on top.
King d8. Now I don't know what to capture. Maybe base rate is not to capture, but then he will capture.
I'm a little
Knight
surprised they
f4.
both spent so much time.
They're just so strong, man. They don't care about anything. They just blunder.
And you're like, wait, this is crazy.
This is crazy. I'm not seeing any two players giving this many threats back to each other without caring about anything in life.
Yeah, this is weird. John is, I think, like 1700. So
I mean, why? Why you do this? Just capture. Just capture. No need to give checks every time. It's okay. You can also capture sometimes. He capture your knight, you capture his knight. Make peace.
this almost seems like a DGT era because I'm a little shocked that both these players are, to put it bluntly, blundering so much.
And now it's over. There's nothing to left. Wait. Queen f5. Queen f5 is possible, right? b6 and you play queen f4. Why you
Yeah,
give free piece? Like or not? Like he just takes and you are giving back the free piece, which you have won some time ago. But okay, you're still piece up, so doesn't matter. But like you could be two pieces up, right? Okay, fine. And they just trade pieces, simplify at the end. And I think the mistake, okay, let's just use down so matter of a technique more or less. Yeah, and it's a win. But I think for Aditya, the decisive mistake was, of course, this check which he gave here for no reason. He could have captured this. Was he worried about bishop f4? I don't think so. There's a king d8. And I think this is playable, right?
hmm.
At least to my eyes, it looks playable.
Yeah, White's not winning on the spot or anything.
Yeah, so it's a game for like it's a three result game in the open section for sure. But after bishop c5, it's only one result possible, guys, in whatever section you play. You cannot blunder this big. Until now, whatever you blundered was fine. And it was under permissible limits. Because we both were blundering. But if you play this, you are not giving chance to your opponent to blunder.
Yeah,
You play this and you give them chance to blunder.
that's what we call the final blunder.
Yeah. And remember, boys, it's the guy who makes the last blunder loses interest, not the one who makes the first blunder. So after you make first blunder, just be patient, relax, take a deep breath, and wait for your opponent to blunder.
Mm-hmm. Should we take a look at Juan Carlos
Any?
versus Maxwell,
Sure.
and then we can go back
Maxwell.
to
Okay. Yeah.
yeah.
Okay, let's go to the Maxwell game first. And then we'll go to one more game, Jeremy's region. So Maxwell was playing here with white pieces. Can you tell something about him?
So Maxwell, a younger player, probably in middle school or something, or maybe a bit younger. I think he's around 13 to 1400. And then Juan Carlos. I've actually never played Juan Carlos. I've played Maxwell once. Juan Carlos, though, he's like 1600.
Okay. All right. So Carlos is favorite here. And yeah, they played Sicilian. But as you said, Maxwell is quite young, so he was playing without plans. He knew how to develop pieces. He did very well. He had center control. But then after that, he just started moving randomly without having a proper plan to go f4 or to go here or to go knight d5. He was not sure, and he just kept on rotating around, which gave black, I guess, a considerable edge in the game. Rook c4, and now this is a side position to get in Sicilians. You also get queen a8. In fact, I have seen people just doing this and winning.
Yeah.
But okay, no need to do this against Maxwell. Castle, rook d1, queen c7. Just play normal chess, and you will. Anyway, I mean, even here, like you just take and just chill. It's just chill chess, guys.
Yeah, and like queen a8. I really want to play queen a8.
And if you want to chill at your best, you can probably even do this and have more fun.
Yeah, that's a
And
good
if you
point.
want to have more fun, you can just go queen a8, give your opponent a chance to save the knight, and then you make more fun of him. So you can just do all these things if you are a Sicilian player. And also you can lose in the same fashion as well. So that's the richness of Sicilian. And I think both the player played very, very safe, and black just kept playing with two bishops, and the reason why he won. This is not necessary. And very slow moving game. Wow, he gave a chance to allow all this. And now this has to be losing. Knight f6 is coming, no? King h8, knight f7 is there. You takes bishop
Yeah.
f6, game over. So guys, as I said, you have to just make sure that you are not the last one to blunder, and you still win. And that's what happened. No one spotted the blunder. d5, and they are just not caring about knight f6. What is knight f6? And also the best part, black is not threatening anything.
But the game's not over after knight h6 because bishop takes, and bishop g7, and black should be holding on.
Yeah, even here queen g3 and looks very, very scary to me. Like everything is hanging for black. How black won this? Wait, can I just take? I can just double even, right? How do you defend d5? There's just no way.
Yeah, I don't see a way.
And it's lost. But I think he missed rook f1, knight e7, bishop e7, and the rook is protected. Quite possible. Wait, no? Okay, took rook d5 because maybe rook d5 he thought he will play rook d1 and then multiple threats to defend. Okay, he can play king h8 or rook moves, but why not rook d5 when it's coming? And queen e5, rook f5 is there. So, and he blundered. As I said, the person who blunders the last loses. And then no blunder happened, so black won. All right, so let's move to the Jeremy game, or the last game from the open section, which was live. Srijan was playing Jeremy, and it was French. So, okay, we have all different openings today. That's great to see. What it is called, the Tarash variation?
This is just I don't play it with the knight on d7 for black. Yeah, I think this is still the Tarash though, right? I think so. Uh-oh. Internet problems again. But yeah, this the E. Yeah. Very, very common opening. I think I've even had this Tarash position. Not up until a certain point. I think up until maybe bishop d2 on move 10. We'll have to wait for Nubairshah to come back to actually show the opening, but Very common opening the Tarash.
Yeah. So let's go forward after c5, c3, and c6 was split. And this is the usual formation of knights, e2 and f3. Some people also get with f4. And that's why black plays queen b6 so that he doesn't get f4, knight f3. Am I audible now properly?
Yeah, I can hear you all right.
Perfect. Okay, let's go. So bishop b4, bishop b2. This is all pretty standard stuff. They play f6 or capture and play f6. He just went for queen off the board and probably mistake because white is having the better bishop. And yeah, no, the endgame is good for black, and that is why, sorry, good for white. And that is why this f6 is needed in such kind of position so that you hope that your bishop gets alive someday.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And this is bad. Usually you wait for white to play a3 and then you capture, but if you play directly, it's not good. At least you can play f6 here, but if you don't play f6, probably you're not going to improve. And as I said, now white gets f4 and pretty pleasant position. Wait, why this? I mean, this is completely unnecessary. Why? I mean, isn't this a blunder?
Yeah, that's what I thought too.
Okay, it was a mouse slip, okay? So please forgive Srijan.
Yeah, mostly he's been playing too much online chess lately.
Yeah. He f6, knight f6, and now white still won because, black is going to make one more blunder. So stay tuned for it. Knight g4, knight h3, h6. But how black can blunder in this? It's so easy to play, no?
Yeah, I don't know.
I think he lost a rook somewhere. I mean, piece somewhere. No, I mean, look, it's so perfect. E5, everything. I mean, how can black make blunder in this? It's just not happening, bro. Bishop f5 is coming, nice, rook d8. Everything is like, perfect, just perfect. Now let's see what he blunders.
No.
I
But
think
I feel like that's so
this is not
passive.
going well.
I
Yeah,
like
that's the
e4
wrong way.
more. I like e4 more for black.
Yeah, and now this rook is hanging, so this is not a threat. So just capture. But then knight f6 is coming. Wait a sec. And then what's happening? Who is losing? That happened. And both the players did not understand who blundered. Like he captured on c6 because he did not understand what's happening. And now black could have simply captured on c6 back. But then black captured on d5 for absolutely no reason. You
Oh,
capture this and you win a piece.
yeah. This has
But
been
if
a
this
crazy
happens,
night.
then it will be it will be premium section. But if you're in open section, guys, you can expect a blunder from your opponent. And now again, two options for white. So, okay, glad he did not blunder. And he got two pieces and he won the game. Crazy, crazy, just crazy. Okay. And rest is simple. Yeah,
Oh,
guys. He
yeah,
saw, he
that's
saw, he
support.
saw, he saw, he saw, he saw, he saw, guys. He saw.
Yeah.
They're not that bad. It just okay. It's okay. Let's not say anything. Okay, and he made sure that he captures the pawn in time and just pushes those. So yeah, as I say, Srijan was not the one to make the last blunder, so he won, and that's the only explanation I can give for this game.
Yeah.
And rest, I think black did not play f6, so that was the main reason. Apart from the blunder he did while playing this. Okay, so let's go back to ED, which is going interesting. We have Jacob winning this in a king
Oh,
pawn game.
me and Daryl were wrong. We predicted Eddie would hold.
Yeah. But I told you, right? If white doesn't win after playing aces, then white.
Yeah, he had to see knight c2, which normally Eddie would, but tonight's been a weird night. Everyone's playing a bit subpar.
Everyone is messing up, including the commentators. So, so we saw here we had this position, and we saw g5 happening. Then uh, Jacob just said, "Okay, I wait for some time to see what you're gonna do next." Maybe he was just planning to go here. So he played king d6 prophylactically. He captured. Well, he could have gone here. There was no harm going here, but he decided to simplify and capture the knight at some point, which is here, which is a bit premature, I think. But okay, if it wins, wins. My gosh, he almost drew it.
Yeah, I feel like rook f3
It's
is
the
a bit
only way you
too
know,
too
H3,
rich.
and then
Yeah.
you make him play like this, and then you just go with the king all the way around, and now just push. Now, wait, d5, it's fine. Yeah,
So Jacob does end up getting the win, which means he pulls two. I think I mentioned this, but 2.5. And our winners, of course, are once again Nathan and Kevin. Um,
yeah. Guys, find the only move here for white. Let's see how many of you chat can find this. If you
I,
cannot win this in chess, you can leave chess.
I think they'll all find it. Should we take a look? I was looking through the games. It looks like there's one more game that got uploaded from the open section. That was between
Uh-huh.
one of our viewers and Stephen Heinisch. So it's board
This one?
13 is showing. Yeah, if you scroll down a bit. There
Got
we
it. Yeah. Okay, we'll have a look. So Robert was also playing two games today? Oh, no,
go.
it was one.
No, that's the same game, yeah.
Same game, yeah. So, yeah, can you introduce the players a bit?
Yes. So Dale's been playing for a little bit. I think he's 1200 to 1300. He's been improving a lot. And then Steven, I believe Steven's an older player, I believe. I think he's maybe 1600. I'll look that up.
Okay. So we have an upset here, right?
Yes, this would have been an upset.
That's nice. That's nice. That's nice. And there's no special opening preparation, pure chess. Knight d2, developing knights before bishops. Okay, so far both the players are playing fine. The opening was decent for both the sides. Maybe black is slightly preferable because of his piece placement, but again, not significantly. Everything depends upon if d4 is coming or not. I think you should have played d3. If black plays d4, I think black is better. Slightly, not like huge. And as long as you're not blundering this, white is doing fine.
Actually,
Trying to.
Dale is 1368, and Steven, it looks like, is, I think, at his 4 of 1300. So actually, Dale's the favorite.
Uh yeah. It says, yeah, so 600 will not play queen c7 here. They'll either play bishop c2, bishop d6, or they'll just play bishop c6. If you play queen c7, bishop d4, and then, yeah, you are just dropped a pawn here, or you have blundered the pawn structure.
Yeah.
Now white is better. I mean, why to go queen b1 when you can go queen d3?
Yeah, blockade the pawn.
Yeah, just say no to d3. And here we see f6 when it's not needed. Maybe d3 was possible. Maybe something else, or just d6 was okay. Queen d7, queen c8 was there. But no f6, guys. It just drops a pawn. There's just no point.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, white could have just played rook d1, but fine. So knight g5 and wins, yeah?
Yeah.
This was also possible, but this is also winning. So, okay, this was the final blunder, guys, allowing rook d3. And yeah, that's it. White did not give black chance to blunder again. Sorry, black did not give white any threat to blunder. And rook behind the pass pawn, a nice end to the game. I think, yeah, the decision which turned this game was probably queen c7. Until here, it was good for black.
Yeah. So Daryl gets the win. Good win for Daryl. A little bit of a bumpy ride, but he definitely played the cleaner game. And it looks like the game between Nathan um and Kevin is still there's a game in there, but that's actually the game we just looked at, so
Mm-hmm.
not quite uploaded yet. But we'll have to wait till next month to announce who won the open section. But congrats to Jordan and to Nathan for tying for first place in the premiere with 3 out of 4. Oh, and
Yeah.
David Bocek. Let's not forget about him. He had 2 draws and 2 wins, while Jordan had also 2 wins, 2 draws, and then Nathan had 3 wins and a loss. So they all got there a bit differently, but um, and then just to wrap things up, as always, make sure to check out the Discord and share your thoughts on who's going to win the candidates. I've definitely been voicing my opinions, which maybe a slightly controversial, but I think are quite reasonable. And as always, stream sponsored by Chess Goals. You can check that out and use the coupon code Castle to save 30%. And then also Webeccentric, you can use the coupon code Castle for 15%. And that's for the merch store, which there's a lot of cool mugs and shirts and beanies and stuff like that. And then, of course, you can read down below about Webeccentric and how they help businesses. So make sure to check that out, guys. Thanks so much for watching, and definitely tune in on Saturday and Sunday for the Minnesota Close, which is going to be a lot of fun. I'll definitely tune in. And yeah, any last words, New Bear?
Yeah, thank you so much, guys, for joining in. Try to play chess by blundering less. And do uh, join us on the weekend for the tournament. And let us know who do you think is going to win the candidates in the comment section below if you are watching after the stream is over. Have a good night.
Bye, guys.